And this is AubreyS from Brownsville Games with another edition of Monopoly for the Nintendo Switch. It's been a while since I've done a recording. To be honest, I was trying to set up a live stream of an actual match, but I don't know, something was going on with my hardware and I wasn't able to get things going. So what we're going to do is we'll just have another recording, and we're going to set up a new game with a live board using the city theme. And I figured that for house rules, the last time we played, we did the free parking cash house rule game. Instead, we're going to do go and movement. That way, if a player manages to land on go, you can either get an additional $200 for a total of $400 for pass and go, or you can select a property that hasn't been purchased, which is pretty important because if you're trying to complete a color set, you may want to use that as an opportunity. So that's something I definitely would take advantage of. But other than that, that's pretty much the gimmick. Everything else still applies. So I'm adding the AI right now. And with that, let me just do this. And next time we'll bump it up as the game gets challenging, because we're definitely going to play Monopoly more and more. I just needed some time to get myself together to play. Anyway, this is going to be a long game, so, you know, grab one of your comfortable seats at home, grab a nice cold drink, and enjoy what is this long-ass game of Monopoly. So we're rolling the dice to see who gets control. So far, Benito and I both scored a 6, so we're tied for last. If anything, I might end up third instead of fourth. And it's a three-way tie. It's a 6-6-6. Kevina can be the only person to knock it off. Anything higher than a 6 will give him first. And it will happen. So Kevina will go first, I will go second, Benito will go third. Actually, what in the fuck? Why in the fuck am I going last? I was the one who got the 6 first. That's such bullshit. Anyway, Kevina goes first, Benito second, Amandine, I really hate this name, is third, and I will be last. The last time I played, I was able to basically beat everybody's ass in last place. Let's see if I can utilize that same strategy this time. Kevina lands on one of the properties I desperately want, and buys Vermont Avenue at $100. You'll see why. If you watch the last video, you'll understand why I want that property so bad. So we'll deal with that later. Kevina buys a property right off the bat, and because he rolled double 4s, that enables a second roll. See where he will go, or they would go. And again, another double. This time it's double 5s. He lands on, or they land on, Tennessee Avenue, worth $160, already with 2 properties in, and has another roll to go. If Kevina rolls another double, that's an automatic go to jail. Keep in mind, the free parking space does not have a pot, so if you land on it, you just land on it. And let's see the final roll. The final roll is a double, so that means Kevina goes to jail, but Kevina starts off pretty strong with 2 properties and $1,220. So already ahead of the curve, but going too fast, ended up in jail. Benito now gets a chance to play. Let's see where this goes. First roll for Benito is a 3. Puts Benito at one of the cheapest properties you can find, Baltic Avenue. Up for $60. Remember, there's an auction function, and Benito persists to put the property up for auction. Maybe Benito wants to buy it at a cheap cost. What he does not know is that those are the properties that I will throw easy change at, even if it's above property value, because I really like the brown properties. Auction value is now up to $54. Now it's up to $64. That's now $65, $5 above value, but that puts me on the board with a property. Although my turn hasn't popped up, I paid $65 instead of $60, a $5 surcharge. But if I get to Mediterranean Avenue, that'll enable me to get the second property, and that will complete a color set. So now we move on to Amandine, rolls a 9, and gets the second property in the blue color set, and it's up for auction. Auction is now at $11. Original value for Connecticut Avenue is at $120. I'm going to put my money in the mix. Now it's at $112. Benito goes away. Amandine steps in with $113. I add with $114. Kavina steps out, and I end up getting Connecticut Avenue at a $6 discount. So far, Kavina and I are the only two players with some level of property in the mix. Here goes my roll. My roll is a double 5. Puts me already in the just visiting area.
I wish you luck.
I get to roll again. Rolls another double. It's a 6. Puts me in the orange position. This is for St. James Avenue. I can buy it or I can put it up for auction. I'm going to put it up for auction because I don't really want that property. Starts the bid at $1. Well, adding $1, it was at 11. Now it's at 133. 130. Oh my God, can I read? 131. And right now I'm going to withdraw. So I'm the first one out. Kavina's second, up to 113. Now up to 143. About to creep up to the original value. 3 people are still in for the auction. Benito steps out, and Amandine steps out, which means Kavina is now the property owner of 2 orange properties. One more, and that can be a pretty much a monopoly. So let's see where that goes. And for me, I got to be careful because if I roll one more double, I'm going to end up in jail. But that's not going to happen. I'm going to roll a 5, which lands on one of the red properties. Those are the properties I enjoy, so I'm definitely going to buy that. So that's at $220, puts me up to 3, ending the turn. And with everyone managing to get off the go spot, Kavina has 3 properties with $996. Benito and Amandine at $1,500. I have $1,101 with 3 properties. So I have a decent cash flow, tied for 3, and Kavina lands on their own property. Kavina wants a monopoly right now, looking for that 3rd property.
Let's roll the dice.
Now it goes up to Benito. Benito rolls a 7. Puts them over to the just visiting area. Doesn't go to jail, but doesn't really get anything. That ends the turn. Amandine, 1,500. Rolls a 11. See how far that takes you, all the way to free parking. And again, nothing really to earn there. Back to me. Rolls a 5. 5 lands me on a yellow property, which that's where the big money is. I'm actually going to take an investment here, and I'm going to buy Atlantic Avenue for $260. Now puts me up to $841. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to make a deal, because if I don't make these deals sooner, I'm going to be in big trouble. So a trade is going to go into the works, and I'm going to trade with Kavina.
If there's demand,
I want
be an offer.
Vermont Avenue. I'm going to give him $105, which would put it up to $5 above property value, so he'll get a profit off of it. And for me, I'll be 1 property closer to potentially getting a color set. Let's see if there's an accepted deal. It has been accepted, so now I have my second property in the light blue color set. I'm also in the lead with the most properties, now at 5. Kavina is back at 2 properties, but trying to complete a color set. Rolls a 7. 7 lands on the red property, which is what I need. For $220, it's Indiana Avenue, and it's up for auction. So for me, I got to win this property. I have to. And already it's at $211, up to $212. Kavina pulls out, now down to 3. It's already $3 above. Benito's out. Amandine still stays in. It's between me and Amandine, but she has a full stack of cash, nearly double what I have. But I'm like, no, I'll pay the $13 increase So I paid $13 above value, but the benefit is I am now one property close of getting a color set. So I have two potential color sets in the making. Going back to Benito, with no property, staying with the 1500 that they started off with, now lands on the magenta space at States Avenue, up for sale for $140 and purchase. So that will be Benito's first property. Probably was hearing what I was saying and decided to pick up a property. So it skips there, Amandine gets to play. The only player with the original chip stack of 1500 to start. Keep in mind that this is a go and property house rule. So if you land on go, you get the choice of spending getting $400, or
Are you interested?
picking a space you want. For $260 at Ventura Avenue, it's up for auction. I'm gonna need it, so let's see where it goes. Interestingly enough, I haven't seen any, anyone landing on the railroads or any utilities. So it's interesting that no one has landed on them yet. And now it's going up to 244. It's up to now 255, still below. And I will get it at $5 less than property value dictated. So now I'm down to $244 with 6 properties. I didn't even get to the rich part of the block yet. I'm about to get there now. The roll is a 7. And I'm at a chance card. Let's see what I can get. A community chest, actually. And that's $25 I just received for a consulting fee. So that puts me up to $269, which I kind of need every cent these days. Back to Kavina.
Holds for you.
It seems to me like I might be the first person out of everyone to make it around the board to land on go. But if I land exactly on go, that can be a big difference maker of a lot of money. Now this is for $280. I can't even play because I don't even have enough money. So the only thing I can do is hope to make a deal with whoever earns this third property, which is Marvin Gardens. It's up to 262. Between Benito and Amandine, it's up to 272. It's at 282, and Amandine will earn that property. And now everybody now has a property. Amandine has 1, Benito has 1, Kavina has 2, and I have a shit ton. But really, it's all about being cash flow positive. I have the least amount of money after everybody. Benito rolls an 8, lands on my red property, so now that's $18 that goes directly to me. Bumps me up $18 to now $287. And that'll be the end of the turn. Actually, no, because it was a double. So Benito gets to roll again. And the roll is 11. Pretty high roll. Let's see how far around the board you'll get. Lands on the green properties, which are pretty valuable. This is North Carolina Avenue at $300. Benito buys that. Puts him up to $1,042. Currently in third place in cash flow, but has 2 properties, which is tied for, I would say, second between Kavina. Amandine still with third. Chip stack, third property count. Well, actually, wrong. Last place in the property count. And has the highest chip stack. Rolls a double 5. Lands on one of the big blue properties, which are pretty important. That's Park Place. And will spend that $350. And has one of the big properties on the block. Leaves you at $868. And gets to roll again because Amandine rolled a double. This will assure a cross to the go, but if you land directly on it, which I believe is a roll of a 3, that will be $400, which I don't think is going to happen. That is a 5. Lands on the community chest. Let's see what happens here. Amandine gets a get out of jail free card, which can be kept when needed, and it can be used for a trade. So, pretty positive moves there, including a nice acquired property by Amandine. Back to me, a 7 gives me $400. Do I get it? Yes, I do! Now, I have a decision to make. I can either try to go for $400 of extra salary, or I can pick a property that I know I need. I can do that with the red properties, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the money. Here's why I'm going to take the money. I'm taking the money because it gives me $687, but the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a trade, because why build the the red properties if the yellow properties have more value? So I'm going to go to M and Dine, make a deal with this person, acquiring the property off the yellow color set of Marvin Gardens. That's worth $280. I'm going to make a flat out deal for $290, which will give M and Dine a $10 profit off of the acquired property that was just acquired. But for me, it gives me the guaranteed monopoly that I need, and very strong monopoly indeed. So let's see what happens here. Will the deal be accepted? I placed the offer, and it was accepted. So that means I will end up with a color set, which is very important for a monopoly because I can build off of it. But for now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to end my turn. So I'm the first person to develop the monopoly in the game, so if there was an achievement for that, go me. But I'm also broke as shit, so I have to start being conservative in terms of the moves that I need to make. I don't really think buying any houses might be strategic. What I'm going to try to do is figure out a way to get that brown property first. And Kavina lands on a property, a luxury tax actually, so you lose $100, close to 1,000 flat, and ends the turn.
Your time has come.
Benito rolls a 10, crossing the go, and lands on a community chest. So let's see what Benito earns. Loses $50 for doctor fees, so actually he only made $150 going past go. And M and Dine with $13.58, the cash leader, with only one property, but one of the most expensive properties in the game. Rent alone can cost as little as, I believe, $40 to as much as $50. So that's a pretty expensive property to have. And M and Dine moves 7 paces to Connecticut Avenue, which is owned by me. So that's $8 that goes into my pocket. Ending the turn, and it goes back to me. So let's see where it goes. I'm looking for some utilities right now. Rolling on a 7. And gets a chance card. I can play it or pass it. I'm in the lead, so I'll play it. And I finally get a railroad because I advanced to the nearest railroad, which is Pennsylvania Avenue, which is available for $200. No need for an auction. And that's important because with the railroad, $25 rent if anyone lands on it, and it increases the more I earn railroads in the game. So now back to Kavina at 2001, about to be an extra $200 because you got to roll a 2 to pass go, so Snake Eyes would be enough. If you roll an 8, and landing on Oriental, which is the property that I don't have. It's worth $100, and Kavina is going to buy it. So that's the property I need. I'm going to have to make a deal with Kavina, but for now, Benito gets to roll at $11.92 currently. The roll is a 4. Lands on Kavina's property. The one I need costs $6. Goes into Kavina's pocket. End turn. M and Dine gets to roll. The roll is a 7. Lands on the St. John's place owned by Kavina, so that's $14 to Kavina. So Kavina's picking up on some of these rents right now. Now it's my turn. And the roll is a 8, which lands on my own property. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to take a move right now, and I'm going to make a trade offer. The offer goes to Kavina. And the offer is I'm going to take your Oriental, but I'm going to give you $105. $105 is more than half of what I currently have in my bank. So I'm running very, 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 very low on cash. And never mind the big-ass explosion you might have heard. That's a firecracker. Again, if you heard the last video where I played this game, you might have heard some firecrackers in the process. And like an idiot, I've resetted everything, so me being distracted about firecrackers just pretty much screwed up the trade. So I'm going to do it over, but we know what the trade is going to be. It's going to be Oriental at $105, which is $5 above value. And I'm going to add the money, and I'm going to hit deal. Let's see if it's an accepted deal. It is indeed so. So I am down to $100, but I have my second color set, and I am done investing. I'm just hoping that I get some railroads to try to get some more money coming in, because right now I am super duper cash poor. But if you saw the last game I played, you would have learned that, you know, it could be worse. I ended up with all the properties I wanted with $1 left to my name. And I still managed to end the game strong. So let's see what happens here. Keep in mind, you can have a lot of properties and still figure out a way to lose. So how that happens, we'll see momentarily. But back to the action. Benito rolls. Rolls a 3. The rent increases because it's a color set. It's now $16, which is double from the actual rent. Puts me up to $116. And now down to M and Dime. The big and final piece of the puzzle is if I can try to get a brown property or a red property. Now, the red properties are just going to be hard to buy because I'm just cash poor. And someone picks up a railroad. This time it's B&O. Auction. There is no way I'm going to win at this auction. I just do not have enough money. So I'm just going to withdraw so I don't waste people's time. Benito withdraws. And Kavina, congratulations. Kavina has now the second railroad in the game.
It's your turn.
Now it's my go. The roll is 6. Lands on the yellow property, which I own.
Manage your portfolio.
Now goes back to Kavina. The roll is 9.
Let's see if
Chance card. Let's see what happens. And you also get the second get out of jail free card. So now Kavina and M and Dime are the only two players that currently have the get out of jail free cards. I don't think there's any get out of jail free cards I know that's present in that deck. Usually there's just 2 that's available. So yeah, this is pretty good. Rolls a 4. And it is States Avenue, which is the only property of the 2 that Benito owns. So that will end there. M and Dime gets to roll.
your turn starts now.
Rolls a 5.
Well, that was unexpected.
And somebody's going to jail. So right now we have M and Dime in the lockup. We'll have to use the get out of jail free card upon the next turn to avoid spending $50 getting out of jail. Back to me.
Future holds for you.
I can't roll a 1, so I will be passing the jail. And I will be landing on somebody's expensive ass property for $35. So I lose that, and Dime gets $35 while in jail. And that ends the turn. So now goes back to Kevin. Rolls a 5. Lands on the yellow property. Big mistakes, $44. Luckily enough, I didn't have any houses on that property. Kind of gained back what I lost. Benito to play. Rolls a 3. It lands on St. James, owned by Convena. That's $14.
Yes.
M and Dime. We'll use the get out of jail free card, avoiding the $50 fine, and we'll roll. Rolls an 8. Lands on Tennessee Avenue, another property owned by Convena. So far, so good. Getting about close to $30 in rent back to me. Possibility for another $400 if I land on a 3 will not happen. That'll be a 9. And that lands on one of my properties. And I'm going to... end my turn. I was thinking about whether I would add houses, but I think right now the only thing I can do is just try to get more money so I can then put houses on. Continue with Convena, rolls 11.
Truly unfortunate.
Ooh, income tax. Benito plays.
So great.
Snake Eyes, that's a double. Lands on Tennessee. Owns Convena 14. But you get to roll again. Still in second place in chip set.
I wish you luck.
By that I mean cash in pocket. Landing on a few of my properties on this block. And lands on another double. It's a 4. Lands on a chance card. We'll flip it. Ooh, the general repairs. It's $25 a house. $100 per hotel. But no one has a monopoly with houses or hotels on it, so the card doesn't really mean much. For me, it would mean a hell of a lot if I had that card, but thank God it's been discarded. That came from the chance deck. I'm pretty sure there's another one in the community chest. Rolls a 9 on the second turn, but lands one of the yellow properties costing $48 of rent, which goes to me. So it's a pretty strong investment. Puts me up to $373. M and Dime with the dice to roll. Rolls a 4.
Successful people.
Chance card.
Own luck.
And you're going to Reading Railroad. If you go past go, that's $200. And it is a property to buy for $200. And now M and Dine has a property and a railroad. Benito, sorry, not Benito. Convena has a railroad, and I have a railroad. So everyone has a railroad but Benito. So that kind of spreads it thin in terms of getting multiples. There's one possibility for a multiple, but that's only with one property left. Landing on number 7, that's a Benito property. That's $10 that's going to cost me. And I'll have to end the turn there. Back to Convena.
Your turn.
Rolls a double 6, so that's a 12. Lands on the other side of the board with $200 in the pocket, so up to $1104.
Your time.
Rolls again. The roll again, another double, it's an 8. Lands on the orange property by which Convena owns. Avoid another double, otherwise that's going to be a go to jail moment.
Shake the dice.
Final roll.
See what the future holds for you.
And that roll is a double. That's an 8, straight to jail. I believe this might be Convena's second time in jail. But keep in mind, Convena has a get out of jail free card, so the $50 fee can be avoided if Convena is unable to roll a double. Back to Benito. The roll is a 7.
I hope you're feeling.
And with a chance, move to Illinois, and if you go past go, that's $200. And that property is the property that I needed for $240. We'll buy the property. And Benito has 3 properties, of which one I want. One I will try to see if I can make a deal to get. But for now,
Starts now.
I would rather just build houses. Or maybe try to get like a monopoly across one block. I'll have to look at it when it's my turn. Finally, a utility up for grabs. It's electric company for $150, and it's up for sale. I might dabble to see if I can get it for cheap. Kind of not in the market for that, to be honest. Cavino sits, Benito continues, Amandine sits. I'm going to pull out between Benito and Amandine. And Amandine gets it for $3 above property value, but has a utility and has a railroad and has the most expensive property, but does not have a monopoly. That could change in a world where she gets, or they get, that second blue property. My roll, and it's a double, it's an 8, takes me over to one of my red spaces, by which I own. I will continue. Rolling again. Rolls a 6, and that lands on my own property, and I'm going to end the turn right there. So now it goes back to Kavina, in jail, but decides to break out with a $50 avoidance with that get out of jail free card. We'll roll. Well, let's see where Kavina lands. There's not that many open spaces left for property takeovers, but there's still a lot of utilities up for grabs. There's some properties at color sets that need to be completed, so there's things left to go, but the rolls becomes very tighter and tighter. Plus, no one landed exactly on goal yet outside of go, outside of me, for $400. So there's still a lot of room left. Benito rolls a 7. Lands on the green property, which is a property up for sale. It's Pacific Avenue, and it's worth $300. It's up for auction. Up to 212. I'm going to withdraw because I have no interest in this. It's a 3-person battle, up to 234, about to approach 250. I'll be surprised if it's anywhere below 300. Up to 275, still 3 in it. About to cross over to the 290 marker. Benito's out. Property's at 297. Above at 308 between Kavina and Amandine, but Amandine buys it at $8 above property value. But the smart move is that you are able to block Benito from a potential monopoly by buying one of the properties in the color set. So that was pretty strategic. So Amandine may not have a lot of properties, but the properties that that person has value in terms of how much rent would be collected. But those are small peanuts as you move more and more deeper in the competition, where houses and hotels is what's going to break the bank. The roll currently is at a 4, puts me over at one of the green properties. Amandine gets $26. Puts me back down over the 337. I'll have to end my turn here. But I'm at the rich lane of the Monopoly board. Back to Kavina. A lot of properties on my side that's owned by me. Rolls a 6. Lands on one of the red properties that I don't own, which is Benito. And that right there adds $20 in his pocket. Speaking of Benito, his roll.
The future holds for you.
Nice. Rolls a 10 for that big bonus. And it's a 10, which is 1 over. I'm sorry. But gets Mediterranean Avenue, which is the property that I can possibly buy because it's up for auction. And I am going to buy that property through hell or high water. This is why I still have cash. Currently up to 53. Amandine is out. Benito is out. Kavina and me back to me at 55, 56. And I get it for $4 cheaper than the original cost. So I think my color set was at a discount. So I got the color set and another Monopoly. I have 3 Monopolies, a potential 4 if I want to make a deal. which I'm probably going to do once I get my $200, maybe $400 if I can land on it directly. But Amandine has control, rolls the dice, rolls a 7, lands on my yellow property for $44, a big acquired property that I made, starting to pull off big time, putting some cash in my pocket. Puts me up to $325. Now it's my goal. And again, a 10 or a 9, I would say a 9 for the big money. And it's a 4. Lands on a railroad that's for sale. I'm definitely going to buy that. Puts me up to $125. Ends the turn.
Your time.
There's a income tax that's right next to it. I will avoid that because I can roll above a 1. I think the go roll is a 4 or a 5, and I believe the income tax is either 7 or 8 in terms of potential rolls. So I'm going to show the board to see what potential rolls I'll need to figure out and get around when my next turn appears. Kavina landed in jail, or at least is stuck there. Benito had the turn. Rolls a 9.
Just visiting.
And lands on the get out of jail, or at least in jail, just visiting area.
It's your turn.
Amandine the roll. And the roll's a 4. Puts it to Pacific, which is the property Amandine has. Back to me. And I gotta be very sensitive here because I don't want to be in a position where I'm going to owe some big money. Because there are big rents up there. But I do avoid it with a 7, which I believe is a community chest. And let's see if I get more money. I get an extra $30 because apparently it's my birthday. So I'm now up to $355 as I start a new turn. And I don't think I'm going to make a move for the red properties yet. Kavina pays itself to get out of jail for $50. Gets the chance to roll. Rolls a 5. And that's Pennsylvania Avenue. So that's now $50. Could have been $25, but now it's $50. All railroads have been purchased. And I believe one utility is left on the board for purchase. Here goes Benito. Rolls an 8.
You must pay.
Kavina's property, $14 owed. And now it's Amandine's turn.
Time has come.
Amandine, however you pronounce it. I think the big roll's a 9, but that's not going to happen on that roll. Instead, it's a 3, one short of my property, but lands on Pennsylvania Avenue, which is a property for sale, and it's worth $320. We'll buy it. Again, preventing Benito to get that monopoly. Now, Amandine can try to make a deal with Benito to try to get that third property in the hopes that they will create the first monopoly for another opponent. But for now, it stays the way it is. Lands on a Magenta property, but it's for sale. It's for $140. I don't really care for that. I kind of want Benito to have a monopoly to keep the game competitive. So let's see what happens. Or Amandine can try to get the property, and that way it would force a deal for the green property. But that would be such a shitty deal in terms of the values. It's so not the same in comparison. So Benito and I are out. Kavina and Amandine are still in for $133 for the property. And it's purchased by Kavina, $7 below property value. So got it pretty cheap. Kavina plays. Rolls a 9. Red property by Benito, $20 owed. Now back to Benito. The roll is a 5. lands on the red property, owes me $18.
Never give up.
Ends the turn, Amandine gets to roll. About to cross. The magic number is 6 for $400. Needs a deuce. Does not get close. Instead, lands on Boardwalk. And for Amandine, that is a very big property move. And I will have to put every cent I got to block Amandine from getting that property. I think that's what everyone has to do, because if not, if Amandine gets the property, that can be game over in terms of like the amount of houses that can be purchased. I can't buy it because that's above my price value. Kavina sits out, Amandine sits out, and Benito doing everyone a huge favor. Now, there's a potential trade that can be made that can give each of the players their own monopolies. I'm curious to see how that's going to work, but for now, it's my turn. I'm just saying, sometimes you got to think aggressively. And now I'm going to go... Oh, no! I go to jail. I go to jail. The only deal I can possibly make now is I'm going to manage my property. And I'm going to try to make the trade now while I'm still in jail. So the trade's going to go to Benito. The current trade move will be for the red properties. We're talking about Illinois Avenue, which is currently worth $240. I'm going to give $250, which is, again, more than half my stack to make this a possibility. So Illinois is for $240, but I'm buying it at $250. $10 profit for Benito. Is that an accepted deal? Sure it is. And now I have all of my color sets as monopolies. I have 2 of the railroads, and I have no utilities, but I have $173 in my pool, in my bank. So quite frankly, I'm going to sit in jail for a while and see how much money I can bulk up. And apparently Kavina is going to join me. 2 players are now in jail.
Let's roll the dice.
Sets a roll. Roll is 10.
Something good is going to happen.
At the community chest is a $10 second place prize for beauty. Try saying that 5 times. I'm gonna have to clip that. Let's go back over to Kavina. Oh, sorry, Amandine.
What the future holds for you.
The roll's a 4. And lands on Baltic. So that's $8 for me, because that is a color set property that I see. Puts me up to 181, still under $200. Currently in jail. Only doubles can save me to avoid the fee, but it's an 8, so I'm still stuck in jail. End turn. Kavina, also in jail, not anymore, decides to break out of jail with the $50 payout. Rolls an 11. Lands on my color property. It's $36. Puts me now above the $200 marker at $217. Benito rolls.
That's what I like.
And it's a double 6. Lands on Reading Railroad, which Amandine owns. So that is $25 to Amandine. Excuse me. And Benito gets to roll again.
The dice and see what the future holds for you.
The roll's a 7. Lands on electric company. Amandine owns that, so that's $28. So far, Benito's been paying up twice on rent, but still has the highest amount of money in cash. Has 3 properties, which is tied for 3rd place with Kavina. Amandine rolls a double, and now that is $16 owed to me. But gets to roll again.
Let's play.
777. Lucky numbers. The roll's a 5. And it's a property for sale. It's for $160. Decides to put it up to auction. I have no business buying anything, so I'm 160 is the current value for Virginia Avenue. Auction currently up to 133. 3 players still in. Now 2, because Benito's out. And Amandine will win the property at $145, which I believe is above value, or maybe below, but it's within the range. And as I expected, a deal is going to be made. Let's see where the deal is going. Amandine's going to set up for Reading Railroad. We'll offer that for St. Charles and cash. Wow. You give up a utility, or in this case, a railroad, for a potential color set. Talk about business. I don't know. I personally wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have given up my utility. I have enough cash. I would have figured out a way to just buy it off right, but you're 1 property set away from potentially getting your first monopoly.
Let's play.
But right now, go back to Kavina at 737. Rolls a 5. Lands on the yellow property, which is worth $44 in rent coverage for me. Puts me up to 277. Benito gets to roll. I'm hoping for a high roll. It is a 6. Lands on Kavina's property, so that's $14 owed. Kavina is now the money leader with 2 properties and 2 utilities. Amandine has 5 properties with 1 utility, no railroads anymore. Rolls a 9, but lands on a red property worth $36 due to the color set. Puts me now at the $300 marker at 313. Now back to me. I got to get a double, otherwise I got to pay that fine.
Time has come.
Here we go. Is it a double? It is not. It's a 9. I'm going to have to pay the fine to get out. And let's see where it takes me. It takes me over to a property that I am not interested in buying unless Kavina wants it for a potential monopoly. Let's see where this goes. It's auction time. I'm going to bow out. Kavina needs to throw all the money they got to buy that property because that will be a monopoly that Kavina needs to stay competitive in the competition. Property is up to 181. The original value for New York Avenue is $200. It's above property value now at 201. It's between Benito and Kavina. And Benito pulls out, which means Kavina owns New York Avenue and now is the second player to have a color set. So it's no longer myself. It's now Kavina and myself with monopolies. So now we have ourselves a game. And Kavina has control. Rolls a 4. Anna is in jail. Can manage property from inside, but aside from that, really can't do anything else. So Kavina stays in jail. And Benito will get to play. And it's a 5. 5 lands on the red properties, which is Indiana Avenue. That's $36 to me. Puts me now up to about $300, $299 to be exact.
Your time has
Amandine, its turn is up to you. And the roll is a 7.
Well, that was an
And also Amandine is in jail. So 2 players are currently in jail. Benito's out. I'm out. And with my go at $299, I have a lot of properties on the board, so I should be able to dodge a few of these, including the first one, which is the red property, so that ends my
the
turn.
place.
Back to Kavina. Currently in jail, but will pay the $50 to get out, puts you at 446. Roll. It's gonna roll a 7.
Whatever happens,
At the community chest, street repairs, $40 a house, $115 per hotel. No one has hotels or houses yet, so it doesn't impact anyone. And it's also good for me because it's one less of those cards in the deck. Usually there's 2. So I believe that's 1 of each. If it's 2 from community chest, then that's even better.
you certainly.
Rolling an 8, lands on Pacific Avenue, Amandine's property, so that's $26 to Amandine. Puts Amandine up to $634. Currently in jail, will pay the $50 to get out. The roll is a 10,
This is what
and that lands on free parking, which normally would be a jackpot. Since we're not playing those house rules, that will not matter. My turn, trying to avoid the 6, rolls a double instead, gets a 10, lands on Pennsylvania Avenue, which I now have to pay $28, puts me now down to about $271, but I get to spin again. The roll for a 6 for $400 lands on a 4, and that is a luxury tax at $100. So that now puts me down to $171, ending the turn, going back to Kavina. Rolls an 8. Lands on the railroad that you own, so no harm, no foul.
your time has come.
Benito rolls. Rolls an 8, lands on his own property, so no damage there. Amandine gets to roll all the way on the other side of the free parking zone. Rolls a 9. Lands on Marvin Gardens, so that's $48 for rent. Goes into my pocket. Puts it up to $219. My go. Needs Snake Eyes for $400, but rolls a 5 instead. So that's $200, puts him up to $419, lands on my own property. And what I'm going to do is I am going to... I'm going to put some properties on some houses on my property, actually. So let's see how far we go. At the light blues, each property is worth $50 for a house. With 1 rent on Connecticut, that's $40. $30 on Vermont, as well as $30 on Oriental. So that puts me down to $269, and I will end my turn. First one up with houses. Rolls a double 6. Lands on Park Place. It's a $35 property.
I wish you luck.
Kavina gets to roll. Rolls snake, double threes, that's a 6. Lands on the blue, the brown property, so that's $6 back to me, or $8 back to me. And a trade is going to commence. Actually, not a trade. Houses are going to be placed, which is probably the right move to make. Got the money.
Shake the dice and
Rolls again, one more double, and that's going straight to jail again for Kavina. This would be maybe the 3rd time, but avoids that. Rolls a 9 instead. Lands on the electric company, which is now a $36 fine you are owing to Amandine. Puts Amandine to $635. Benito, the only player still with 4 digits. I'm talking about over $1,000 with 3 properties, 2 of which are very high value. Rolls a 7. Lands on Oriental, so that's a $30 rent that's going to be collected by me.
your turn starts now.
Amandine rolls. Rolls a 3. North Carolina Avenue, $26 owed to Benito. My roll. Rolls a 10. I owe Benito $10, but I'm also going to manage my property. And let's see where people are at. So right now, right now, there's really nothing I should do other than... Let's see, if I go up here, that's $150. That's a lot of money. So what I'll do, if I put 2 properties here, that's a $100 rent, and I will stop in the turn.
Your time has come.
If you've been watching, we're about to reach 1 hour of this interesting contest.
That's what I like to see.
Kavina rolls a 6, double threes, lands on their own property, so you get to roll again. And decides to put some houses on that property. We'll do that to Tennessee Avenue. So now, anyone lands on that, it's going to cost them $70. So that's a pretty huge trap by Kavina, which right now is the only thing that's holding Kavina on to keep the player in the game. Absent that,
Sometimes you have to.
who knows? And with that hit right there of $40, lands into my bank at $287.
Let's roll the dice.
That didn't help. Benito's turn. Rolls a double 4, so that's an 8. Lands on Amandine's property, so that's $12. Still in the lead by massive, and gets to roll again.
Let's play.
The roll's an 8.
Let's see if
Lands on the chance, goes back 3 spaces. Going back 3 spaces means you land on New York Avenue, which is a property owned by Kavina. That's an $80 property that is now added into Kavina's bank. Big gains by Kavina, one of the largest so far. Amandine gets to control the dice. Amandine rolls a 6,
not good. Not
but lands on income tax. Or luxury tax, actually. Luxury tax. So that is $100 removed.
starts now.
Back to my go. The roll, avoiding those oranges, is an 8. Puts me on my own property, which is where I want to be, and that will be the end of my turn. Avoiding a very big move from landing in the hands of Kavina, which currently is a big money maker for the player so far. The roll is a double. It's 4. Lands on a utility, which is the second utility that we've noted was not purchased. Now it has. So all the utilities are purchased. All of the railroads are purchased. So we're only looking for maybe really small properties in the cracks that haven't been discovered yet. But I think all of the properties have been either purchased or nearly purchased. Or really no incentive for the sake of no monopoly being gained. Kavina rolls a 10. Nearly makes it past go, but instead will owe $100. Put them up to $157. Which, you know, considering where things are, and I see Kavina wants to throw down another property, putting him down to $57, but knows the stakes. Anything landing on those orange areas can cost up to at least $80. So hoping on that as the strategy to earn some money, Kavina has a pretty strong move, and it's the only strong move that's left. There's two railroads that are up for $50, but that doesn't really matter. Benito lands on my property on Illinois, so that's $40 going back to me, puts me up to $327. But yeah, Benito doesn't have much flexibility, but Kavina doesn't have enough flexibility, but at least with 2 railroads and a utility, there's some money to be made. And then you got a monopoly right in the middle too, with the orange properties. So Amandine lands on my property for $8, as Amandine crossed over for $200. Well, make it $192 actually. My go. The jail is at, I believe, 9, but I will be avoiding that because I land on my own property. So back to Kavina. Will inevitably cross go. Can't get $400 unless it's a roll of a 2, which I don't think it's going to happen. So right there, it's a 9. Passes the go for $200. Lands on chance. Let's see if it's a good or a bad one. And the bank gives you an additional $50 in terms of a dividend you've earned. So now Kavina is up to $307. Will there be any move for rebuilding? No, says Kevin. Now goes to Benito at $12.43. Still the massive chip leader. The roll is a 7. And that is Pacific Avenue. Amandine owns that, so that goes over to Amandine's bank at $7.39. Benito will end there. Goes to Amandine. The roll is a double 6. Lands on Pennsylvania Avenue, which is one of the 2 properties I own, so that's a $50 add-on to me. Puts me up to $385. And gets to roll again. Lots of properties on my side. The other side. Some orange properties. Similar to one of them right there. Devastating, because that right there is a $70 loss. $70.
Shake the dice and see what the future holds for you.
Rolls a 7.
Don't give up. Persistence is the key to success.